Hi guys, welcome to this video. I've had a question over on the Blender course on how to make this particular shape that I'm showing you now. It's a relatively straightforward shape, but it can be challenging to make, and there are several ways to do it. So in this video, I'm going to show you how we're going to make this particular shape using only two curves. So let's hop straight on over into Blender. Hey guys, so we're back over in Blender and this is the shape that we're going to be going for. Now there's several ways in which you can make it and we're going to use curves. So I'm going to delete the shape we've got in front of us and I'm also, well actually I'm just going to open up a brand new Blender file. It saved me doing a lot of legwork there. So I'm going to get rid of this cube by pressing the X key and clicking delete. I'm now going to add in a plane. Now what we're going to use is we're going to use two curves. We're going to use one curve as a profile for another curve to follow along. So we're going to add a plane, and the shape was, I'm not sure if it was square or whether it was slightly rectangular, so I'm going to go into edit mode and scale that on, let's say, the x-axis there by that much. Doesn't really matter. Now I'm going to delete here, but I'm only going to delete only faces. So there we go, we're left with this outline. I'm going to hop back into object mode by hitting the tab key and converting that object to from a mesh object there to a curve, and I'm going to use the shortcut key Alt and C to do that. And we got here convert to, so I want to convert it to a curve. If we take a look at the top right, we can see in the outliner where it was once a mesh object, it now is a curve object called plane. And I'm going to call that profile because that is the shape that we're going to be moving along a path. So we need a path, and I'm going to use another curve for that. So whilst we are still in object mode, I'm going to go and add in with Shift and A another curve, and I'm just going to use a Bezier curve for that. Now, it doesn't really matter at this point in time where it goes because I can move it about to my heart's desire. I'm going to look at this curve from the top here and hop into edit mode. And I'm going to make this nice and straightforward. I'm going to turn on snapping with the incremental snap function and just move that 2 Blender units this way. And I'm going to grab the other end, wherever that is, and move it 2 Blender units this way. So that's looking pretty good. I just need to move the handles now, if I can grab those. Oh, I didn't actually move what I thought I was moving. There we go. I'm going to move that handle to there and this handle to... Oh, I'm going to have to turn off snapping for this, to roughly in the same place, and we should end up with a curve that looks similar on both sides. Let's plonk that one there and this one here. Okay, so that's a nice arch. In fact, in this case, I'm going to make it a bit of a steeper arch. There we go. So I could tinkle that to my heart's desire. So we've got two curves here. We've got a profile and a profile path. So I'm going to make sure I've given that a name. So now we have a profile and a profile path. We can tell Blender under the properties window to the right hand side here, under the curve properties, we can actually say I want this curve to have an object to bevel around. So I'm going to hop out of edit mode there so we can see our curve here and we can see the profile that we're going to use. Now I'm going to set the bevel object to the profile and let's have a look at the shape we've got. That is looking pretty good. Now, it looks like here that I've made it slightly flatter than the original desired shape, but it's still there. We can tinker about with this profile underneath at any point, and let's say scale that in on the x-axis again. Oops, scale x, bring that in, and perhaps that's more of the shape that you were going for. Now, back over in object mode, on the left-hand side here, we can change the shading time. I'm going to change it to flat here for our curve object. And you can see there are two things going on here. It's very low poly at the moment. And turning on smooth shading gets halfway to fixing that, but we've still got some artifacts on there. So I'm going to change that back to flat so we can see what's going on. The first thing I'm going to do here is flip the normals. Well, actually, I'm going to do that in a moment. I'm going to do the second thing first, just to confuse you all. Okay, so the first thing I want to do here is just play with the resolution of the curve, and we can see that helps make it smaller. And that's over in the properties tab here. We can see the resolution. I'm going to set that quite high at 32. So we've got lots of little segments there. And now I'm going to convert this object from a curve object to a mesh object. So with the profile path selected, I'm going to go Alt and C again. And this time, the bottom one, I'm going to make it into a mesh from a curve. Okay, so now I should have a mesh object there rather than a curve object. If I wanted to keep the original, in the operator panel in the lower left, I could tick keep original. I'm not going to do that in this case because it's a one-shot affair. And now when I hop into edit mode, we've got geometry, incredibly powerful. That also means I can flip the normals. Very quickly, I'm going to select everything with the A key and Control and N. So I flip the normals. Now the next thing I'm going to do here is just pick the end, if I can, there we go, pick that end piece there and fill it with the F key, and I'm going to pick this end piece as well, and this is just for neatness more than anything else. Of course the resolution you could have popped a bit lower if you wanted to, so this is already looking quite smooth. I'll fill that face in as well. If we hop into object mode, but it's still got these faces to it. Now the problem, of course, if we go into smooth shaded mode, it kind of loses its definition, doesn't look quite right. There are a couple of ways of adding in detail to make sure that's got a sharper corner. Now my favourite one, I could show you plenty, but the favourite one I've got here is either the loop cut or the bevel tool. Now I find the bevel tool incredibly useful, so I can go ahead here and with the alt holding down the alt key, I'm going to select that whole edge there. I'm going to do that one and the bottom ones as well, and I'm going to use Control and B for bevel, and I'm just going to bevel that round, add in a couple of extra bits of geometry with the mouse wheel. I'm going to go for a bevel of 3, and I'm going to make it that big. Now when we hop around, we can see we've got a much more defined edge. Of course, finally, the final question there was, how do I add a material to it? Well, this probably has a default material applied to it so far. So if we go to the materials property, go ahead and click new material, and there we go. We've now got a material assigned to it, and we can play about with the material settings as much as we like. Brilliant. I hope that's helped you all out. If you've got any questions, of course, ask in the comments below. Well, thanks guys for watching. If you guys have any questions at all, put it in the comments below. Remember to like this video if you've liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it for some reason, and of course remember to subscribe so I can show you some more hints and tips in Blender throughout the year. Take care.